Alright, so today I'm going to go over some shading techniques for your grid portraits. This portrait was drawn by Sky Houston. It's Michelle Obama. We're going to go over how to do some shading in her nose, her eyes, by her mouth, and especially in the hair to give the hair some volume. So we're going to take a look at how to do different types of blending. First thing I would recommend, if you've never used different drawing pencils before, I would say grab a piece of white paper so that you're not ruining your portrait, and you can just go ahead and label all of the different colors. So just go ahead and make a little mark on each one. Some of them are colored pencils, some of them are blending pencils, some of them are drawing pencils. So they each are going to look a little different. Each drawing pencil has a different number on it. This one says 4B. I don't know if you can see it. It says 4B. B pencils tend to blend a little better. They're a little softer. And they also come on a little darker. So anything with a B, the higher you go, is going to be softer and darker. Anything with an H, just stands for hard. So it's going to be less likely to blend and a little bit softer of a color. But you guys might want to just mess around first, see which colors you want to use. I haven't been labeling them because I didn't want to take up too much time, but each color has a name. You just have to find the name and then write it. And then you get an assortment of like what kind of colors you are working with. So your goal is to just match the shades to the pictures that you chose. You want to look for the direction of the light and the direction of how things are shaped. So if you look at the nose bends in, so you know that you have to curve that shadow. Don't be afraid to go really dark. So a lot of times people are afraid to push the limits on how dark they make their shadows, and then their image kind of looks just very gray. So you want to keep some white for the highlights. That's why I brought an eraser in case I need to erase some stuff for highlighting. And I also, I'm going to use, my darkest colors are going to actually be the black color pencil. So I'm going to start with the bridge of the nose by the eye. We're going to do that curve so we already know that it curves in. I'm going to go ahead and use my 4B pencil to start. I also have set up a blending tool, and then this is how do you clean the blending tool. So let's say this blending tool has a little blue on it. You just rub the tool onto this, it's like sandpaper, and it also makes it a little bit sharper. You don't want to rub too hard because you don't want to, make it start to come apart. But now the blue's gone, it's a little sharper. And then if this just gets dirty, it peels off. So if there's a dirty piece, it's like not working anymore, you can just peel it off. Okay, so let's start with the bridge of the nose. So again, I'm going to follow the curve of the shadow that I see. And I'm just going to gently start it first. I like to move in circles. I'm trying to pay attention to where I see lights too. So it's not all dark. There's lights included. So I'm going to leave that part light. And I'm going to gently make circles to make my shadow, the shape of my shadow. And it might look weird at first because you're not blending yet. But I know she has an eyelid, so we're going to try to get that shape of the eyelid in. And then she also has another direction of shadows going under her eye. I'm going to stop there and I'm going to blend. So I'm blending again in circles. The 4B is very nice for blending because it's a soft pencil like I mentioned earlier. And if I think, oh, I made this too dark, I could always erase after I'm done blending to bring back some of those highlights. And I like to just move around while I'm working, so I noticed this shadow over here by her nose with her laugh line. So I'm just going to take the color that I'm using for the eye and just kind of drag it down. And I'm going to blend the cheek so that it's not pure white. And then I have a shadow right here by where her hair is, so I'm going to include that as well. What I'm noticing while I'm doing this is that the eyes are super, super, super dark. So the reason that this shadow looks so dark is because her eye that's drawn is so light. So if we darken that up, it won't be as drastic. I'm going to leave those highlights in her eyes. So I'm not going to do it all at once. I'm going to leave little highlights. And it doesn't have to be solid. You can make some of it lighter and blend with your blending tool again. But the pupil is definitely going to be dark. And then I could go back in with my eraser, bring out some more lights of the eye. And then her eyeliner is also very dark. Her makeup is dark as well, her eyeshadow. So we're going to try to bring some of that out as well. So now, I didn't do anything to this shadow, but it looks much lighter now because I darkened my darks. So I'm going to keep darkening my darks. I'm going to make some more dark lines in the eyebrow. I'm going to draw her nice big eyelashes that she has. I try not to make eyelashes like little strings, so I try to follow the curve of the way they're opening and make them more like shapes than like lines. So if you could see, I'm just kind of bringing them together, making shapes of how they open. And then what I could do again is go in with my eraser, kind of soften some things that I want to soften. I'm not pressing hard, I'm just really gently erasing with the edge of my ruler. The edge of my eraser. Because you don't want the entire picture to be gray. You want to have some of those lights too. And sometimes I use my finger in the end. Okay. So there's a close-up of what I just did with the eye. And now I'm going to do a little bit of the nose and then the hair and a little bit around the mouth so that you guys could see a little bit of each feature. I picked out an assortment of colored pencils, so I have all different types of grays. If I wanted to go in and kind of see, oh, what does this gray look like? I could add that also after I do all my blending. And I'm just adding it really softly to give it a little bit more depth and a little bit, you know, more of a variety. So this line here by her nose is pretty dark. I'm not going to use black quite yet. I'm going to start with, again, my 4B pencil. That's the blue one. I'm going to add a little darker shadow right there. And I'm going to start with my small circles. And I'm going to blend that out towards the left direction, because that's the way the light is hitting. So I'm paying attention to direction of where light is hitting. And then I'll definitely soften it once I'm done. There's another shadow under her nose that I can go ahead and spread. And then her cheek has this shadow here. It kind of forms like a triangle. And then her actual cheekbone right here, that's all highlight. So I want to leave that with my pure white. So I'm just going to make circles. And I'm just going to blend until I think it looks nice. And I'm going to do that for all the shadows of the face. So I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to try to follow the directions. I'm going to try to look for highlights. I'm not going to make it fully gray. I'm going to make sure there's contrast. Contrast is the difference between black and white. So the eye has nice contrast because the eye is white inside and she's got dark eyeliner on, so that adds to the contrast. I'm also going to do a little bit of the hair now so that you guys can see that you don't have to do each string at a time. So a lot of people when they draw hair, they want to like do this. That's not what hair looks like. We want to draw the volume and we want to be able to see the way it's flowing. So she's got some nice curls going on. I could pick a section. I'm trying to decide which section I want to pick. I think I'm going to pick over here. You can't see it in the video, but there is this nice curve and there's like a highlight over here. So what I'm going to do, I'll start with my 4B. I'm going to try to add that really dark shadow in. So the shadow is right around here. And I'm not afraid to go dark because her hair is very dark. You guys shouldn't be afraid to push your darks. It's what's going to bring your photo to life, to have some of those shadows. And then that piece of hair kind of goes this way. So all this is dark. Go even darker with my black. Now I could bring in some of the thicker pieces that are going to form like strands of hair. Thank you. I'm going to leave some of the spaces white so that you can see the movement. And then just like I did with the face, I'm going to use my blending tool. And I'm going to blend some of those white spaces that aren't supposed to be there. I'm going to keep the ones that I want there, but all that in between, I'm going to blend. So these little white reflections, they're actually reflections of the light. They're not gray hairs. Sometimes it could look like you're drawing gray hair, but it's really just the reflection of the light hitting her hair. Then I could start blending where her forehead's gonna start coming in. And her hair, this is just a part of her hair. Her hair goes all the way up to here. So that's why it might look a little flat right now. This is just one section of her hair. But I'm not doing like one string at a time. I'm making them into sections, and there's various shades in it. So it's not just like black and white. There's lots of gray as well. And then I'm noticing like the shape of the face needs to be defined a little better. So I'm going to take my pencil again. So she has an ear somewhere over here. I'm just going to draw the outline of the hair, but not like how you would draw like a circle outline like when you were younger. I'm going to let the outline be defined by her hair. So I'm going to draw hair following the shape of her face. And that's going to be the outline of her head. And then this direction, the hair goes this way. So just trying to follow the directions that I see in my lines. This hair goes this way. And then if I need to, I can go in with my eraser. I'm not done here at all. I mean, this has to be built up slowly. But I can go in, make some adjustments, show that curve of the hair. Maybe soften some of this brightness. The eraser is nice for making the texture. So there we are. I did one strand. She's got lots more hair. But I was hoping to give you guys an idea of how to do the direction, some shading, some shadowing. Don't be afraid to use darks. Don't be afraid to erase if you put too much dark. Try not to smudge too much so that it's all gray, because then you'll just have like a gray face. If it helps you to blow, you can, just for time's sake, take your mask off for like a second, give it a blow, and then put your mask back on. And there you go. So keep following your, oh, and good thing that someone asked earlier, make sure you erase your grid before you start shading, because you're going to really kick yourself if you do all your shading and then you have to erase, and then it's going to show lines of the erasers. So make sure you clip your picture together so that we could collect them. Not right now. Are we cleaning up now? 2 minutes? Okay, so pass your papers forward, and then we'll have more time tomorrow and Wednesday.